Okay, so the very, very interactive styles of teaching that I would have just under COVID just can't happen. We used to have 8, 9 or 10, there's many as that. 8 probably. Students in a group around a table, talking, arguing and working things out. Very, very close. I'm asking social distancing. Wouldn't happen. Anyway, so the class was doing one thing, and what I was curious about was, I was a very, very great fan, and given my human resource development background from industry, to some degree an exponent of experiential learning through games or through what we would often call adventure training. And that is to say, being out in the hills with specialist outside support staff or training staff, doing stuff which was a challenge. Sometimes the challenge might be rock climbing, abseiling. I enjoyed abseiling after I got over the first abseil. Really did. But I can't climb rocks to save my life. And certainly if you could see the lower part of me now, you'd understand I certainly couldn't do anything like that. But anyway. And we used to work at the business school with a group of guys who were absolutely fabulous. Steve and his merry men. Steve is an ex-Marine, but that's by the by. Ran wonderful stuff. Why was it wonderful? Well, what they were able to do was to provide challenging experiences, which in a small compressed time frame caused people to be thinking and dealing with the same kind of issue, the same kind of problem as they are in organisations. Now, when you look or think about looking down from on top, you say they're not the same. But when through your own eyes and thinking about what you've got to hear, what you've got to think through, what you've got to say, the way you've got to interact with somebody else to communicate information and understanding and exploration, a representation of what it is. This is good stuff, particularly when it is skillfully, I hate the word again, debriefed. Okay. The thing about the skillful debriefing is, students will go, "Oh, I'm at a business school, so I must introduce a clever business management language." To which I have once or twice quietly said to a student, "Bollocks, tell me how it is, tell me what it is, tell me what you are experiencing, tell me." So they would come out, "Oh, we need a good leader." Now hang on a minute, I haven't a clue what that is. I don't think anybody in the academic literature has a clue of what a good leader is. Certainly not for what you were doing today, it's not specific enough. So tell me what you did have, and then tell me what you thought you were missing. And as you explore what you thought was missing, how would you put those bits that are missing back into your team, into your group, before you do the next one? So we're working on these interpersonal communicating skills, okay? When you read Cheer and Holt and think about it, when you read Gregory Bateson and think about it, that stuff is where strategy's at. That's where strategy is at. You can't do strategy without that stuff. Okay? As I say it to you like this, it's so simple and so obvious, but try telling the fucking dean that. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I have to put a beep in there, aren't I? Oh, dean. Anyway. So we used to do this stuff. We spend a lot of money, because transporting the kids to the location, paying for the hotel and accommodation stuff, at most we could afford as a course, allegedly, 3 days, maybe 4 if you were very lucky. of doing this outdoor stuff. And we bring them back, and they go, "Oh, that was jolly nice, we did some team building," and then they forget it. And it's very difficult. Well, I found it very difficult, but maybe I wasn't thinking about it the right way, to pull those experiences back into the class and get them to connect together. I started the title, How Gregory Bateson Teach Strategy, and I talked about loads of stuff except Gregory Bateson. Well, it's interesting. There is a story that he walked into a class one day with a bag full of stuff. This bag full of stuff was rocks and fossils and other bits of stuff that you might find lying around in your, I was going to say in your garden, but generally lying around in a place of nature. And it included a few crab carcasses, crab skeletons, and other skeleton bits. And he asked the class to sort out which of these are or were organic and which were inorganic. Okay, that's straightforward, easy. Didn't take the class very long to do that. Very few things apparently were in discussion or in debate. One of the ones I can imagine happening, I don't know whether it actually did, is that some clever sausage would argue that when you've got a fossil, you've got an imprint of something that was alive, not the thing itself. Does that sound familiar? If not, go back and start again. Anyway, they got things sorted out into, yep. These are natural, these are organic, and these ain't organic. And then Bateson smiles at them and says, "How did you do that?" What? How did you distinguish? How did you make a distinction between the stuff which was organic and the stuff which wasn't? What is it that you noticed that let you know which is which? To go back to his big question, what is the difference between these objects that made a difference so you sorted them? I'll let you ponder on how you might do it. Is this where I say the answer is below in the notes? I don't know. see how well you get on with that. Another thing that Gregory Bateson might do, enabling students to understand strategy, is something that they used to play with research students, particularly doctoral students. And I would hold up spoons, different types of spoon. But anyway, spoons. So I'd hold up 4 or 5 spoons, and I would ask them, "What are these?" Well, no, actually, sometimes spoons. More often than not, it was just a range of kitchen implements, knives, forks, spoons, ladles, but collections of spoons, very, very different types of spoons. It works really, really well. So, ladles, slotted spoons, blah, 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 blah. Notice I'm using the names of things so that you can think about your experience to see in your mind's eye what it is that I've got in front of me. Okay. So So here, and then I just hold two of them up. Any two will do. I didn't particularly choose them. I just go, right, there's that one, there's that one. Where is the difference? Where is the difference between these two things? Now, it's interesting, and this is significant for the strategy thinking and the idea of dwelling and the idea of engaging with your environment. And Bateson would have had a big go at this. The first answer I get is, that one's big, that one's small. Yeah, but where's the difference? That one's got slots in the bottom part, that one hasn't. Yeah, but where is the difference? This really teases and plays with this positional metaphor in strategy, because what the students are doing is they're looking at the objects as two things. They're ignoring themselves, and they've got a plan or a map, that object, that spoon with slots in, and they've got a plan or a map of that spoon with no slots in, and the difference, slots, no slots. Oh, that's the difference. You would ladle in that hand, teaspoon in that hand. Where's the difference? Same thing would happen first, yeah? Oh, that one's got a big thing that holds lots. And that's a little thing and doesn't hold lots. Sorry. Yeah, but where is the difference? Because you're not answering the question, where is the difference? You're articulating what differences you can describe, not where is the difference. That would really drive them mad. So then they would reach for more abstract ideas very often. Oh, it's in the texture, it's in the material, it's in. Okay. But still what's happening is that they are looking, how do I do this? They're looking at the object. Bateson's very clear. Differences are constructed here and articulated. And when they're articulated, somebody will hear them and process them up there. But the difference doesn't exist. The difference is not a thing in the world. The difference is constructed in here. That really, really matters in terms of strategy, because the difference that somebody might be exploring in where they're dwelling, exploring as they're dwelling within their business, is a difference that they're constructing out of their interaction with that business, out of their experience of the business interacting with the environment. Except the business doesn't interact with the environment. You know, we run a spa here in the Philippines. Our business doesn't interact with the environment. We do stuff on behalf of the business with actors in the environment. Only very obvious one is a client. How do we get clients to come in? Well, we're a bit naughty with their data. We send them texts if they hadn't been in for a long time. Why do we do that? Because I saw bingo clubs in the UK do it. And I thought, oh yeah. The interesting one is we wanted to send out invitations for birthdays. But people here in the Philippines won't give you that birthday data, which is interesting. Anyway, so the business doesn't interact with the environment. Managers, operative executives, people take what they have as a representation or an image of their business, and they use that to guide what they're doing. Back to the restaurant, yeah? the minimal configuration I was arguing for in class is a product of my experience of living and being in Asia. Which is quite funny because a lot of my students were Asian, but they were Chinese. Actually, the funniest answer I ever had. To me, as a Brit who spent a lot of time in the Philippines, the funniest answer that I had was, okay class, what do I need to run a restaurant? This guy, when I heard the word, a queue. What? I'm thinking, a queue, you know. This is what you say, a queue card, a queue. No, what? A queue, several voices said. And, you know, the table, because we used to have students sitting at table. I said, a queue? Well, they said, yeah, successful restaurants have queues. And in China, we pay people to pretend to queue. To get customers to queue, to come in. I thought, oh, yay, goodness me, that got you, John, didn't it? That got you. Teaching strategy. Oh, but that's only a technique. Yeah, but what do you think strategy is? We're good at the techniques. We're good at talking technique. We're good at talking technique. But technique without the thinking, the understanding, the model in your head, the model in your body of the business, just applying the technique ain't strategy. Don't work. Don't work. We don't tell that to people in the business school, do we? So, Bateson would be finding ways of getting students to explore and articulate differences, and you'd be looking at two types. I think it's more than he would be concentrating or focusing on what I've been talking to you about, which is the way of relating between the individual manager, the organisation, and the way they perceive that dwelling. Okay. And he would also be very, very interested in accounting, but not accounting and finance. He would be interested in accounting in terms of storytelling. Right? So the idea of getting somebody, we just call it, oh, this is a case study to look at how the theory is applied and exploited to be successful. It's bollocks. Actually, what matters is somebody talking about the way in which they have been thinking through and developing their business. Okay. And when I say talking about, I don't just mean talking about. What we're after is we're asking them to talk through the way they see or saw or understood things, what they were paying attention to, what that meant to them as they were working through it. Because what we want are the stories of how they were dwelling and the stories of how they were moving their business, and whether or not their intentions in moving the business. God, I'm back in the spatial thing again, aren't I? Getting the business to go on. You can't get away from the language, I'm sorry, but God, here I go again, I'm off on the pool. Have another beer, try and go back into retirement. So as they're articulating and trying to express what's important to them in getting this so the business isn't static and dead, Bateson will be really, really interested in trying to identify the differences that these people are articulating in the way that they're doing things. Looking at several case studies, you then begin to realize that there are categories of difference. You get different types of difference. You get types of difference. You get types of stuff which people notice, and we give that a label. Now this labeling of stuff that people notice goes into the forming of theory. I'm going to have to pause for a moment.